It feels like I'm really late on this. I did watch all of the Netflix Devil May Cry series on release, but I still want to talk about it, so I shall. But I'm keeping it brief as the hype or hate for it has died down and opening old wounds isn't my style. Gonna have a crack at it anyway, so I'll make a start by saying this. The Devil May Cry Netflix series was not made for you guys. I'm talking about you, Devil May Cry gamer enthusiasts alike. You should have known this when Netflix made their announcement, especially to those of you that are also anime fans. Netflix helped to make shows like Records of Ragnarok, High Rise Invasion, and Onimusha, the last title also being a game franchise. And you simply hoped that Netflix would come up with an adaptation you would have liked? No! They do not have enough money or the fucks to give in making you guys happy. It's all about the clout and the quick cheddar. Since I'm someone that only bothered to watch the game cutscene movies, yes, I'm that type of person, as opposed to playing the actual games and half forgotten about the Madhouse adaptation, I'm gonna add my 2 cents on the Netflix show and try and add a perspective from someone who knows jack shit about the series. Because yes, Devil May Cry fans, you have a right to be still pissed off. Kinda. Again, this is not for you guys. You are hoping for a better addition to the franchise that you know and love, and while hoping is very damning on your part, I'm not trying to absolve any flack that comes Netflix's way. In fact, they've been getting away with a little too much, to be honest, but that's for another video as I still want to focus on their most recent half-hearted product. But before I throw some shit at the series, I'm gonna first talk about the good stuff. The story, probably for somebody who's never watched, read, or played a single iteration of Devil May Cry, is good. Very much in the generic area of storytelling. For those of you that have been living under a rock, Dante, the main character, is half human, half demon. In the Netflix series, Dante is unaware that he's part demon. Up until the revelation, he just thought he was superhuman. Interesting retcon there. At least I think it's a retcon. Devil May Cry fans, please help me out down in the comment section. Anyway, parents long dead, brother supposedly dead, likeable go-lucky main character, kills demons for a living, attracts unwanted attention from the human faction, who are kinda dicks, lady included. We'll talk about her. A polarizing villain who shares similarities to our 2 main characters but for the opposite faction. On paper, pretty good. But for you Devil May Cry fans, there is a lot to hate about it. This is an original story, so non-canon in a sense. If you wanted a faithful adaptation to the gameverse, then yeah, you guys were extremely disappointed. I'd be annoyed if the main character to one of my favorite series, wearing a live action movie, went to school, wants to bang his classmate, wants to avenge his grandfather after an evil demon killed him, and oh wait, that did happen. Moving on. The art style and animation ranges from middle of the road to actually good. The CGI stuff, like most CGI, is cheeks. Yet they were smart enough to make it seen in moments, or to only do CGI for the demons. If they were forced to do it to save money, might as well give the ugly look of the model to the non-human characters, so that the viewers can look at the demons and go, "What the hell is even that?" For 2 reasons. My third and final good main point, despite the supposedly dumbass casting of the guy, we'll get onto that in a sec, Johnny Young Bosch knocks the Dante voice acting out of the park. He and Chris Sabat tie in being my favourite voice actors growing up, with Gabe Kunda and Alex Lee my top picks for the newer guys. Fun fact, when I first heard Dante speak in one of the games, I was stupidly hoping it was Johnny, but went on to find out it wasn't. Sorry Ruben Langdon, after some serious coping, you are still Dante to me. And that's all I pretty much have to say about the good stuff. So moving on to the bad shit about the show, and the first point is to do with the last good point I made. I was torn when I heard the news. I knew this was a spanner thrown in the works to Devil May Cry fans. I have a feeling Netflix must have thought something along the lines of, oh, let's get one of the best voice actors in the world to play as this character. He's already played a different role in the games as the guy's nephew? Ah well, he's one of the best VAs in the world, so people will be fine about that. Netflix? Here's the thing, we are not stupid. I mean, some of us are, but treat the people who are not stupid. Having the best voice actor is not the one beats all answer when another medium has already casted him as another character. It's almost as if Netflix have also said, this show isn't going as far as Devil May Cry 5, so we might as well vibes it and cast whoever we want to cast. If that's true, then okay, write yourself off like that. Speaking of best voice actors, somehow Netflix managed to get a performance out of Kevin Conroy, who died in 2022? Now, I'm very worried that it's from that forbidden dark art called AI, and I'm surprised to see that that wasn't one of the headlines about the show. But hey ho, I guess loads of people like Kevin Conroy and Batman.
Batman would never hit a defenseless woman.
Funny.
I don't have that problem.
But back to the casting of Dante. In defense of Netflix, Ruben Langdon, Dante voice actor in Devil May Cry 3, 4, 5 and the Madhouse animated series, is kinda on his own break, but hasn't completely left the acting scene. He's actually in an over 1 hour long video interview with the Culture Score channel. If you haven't, check that out because that's what I'm gonna do after this video. I'm not a voice actor database, I just have my favourites. So I can't think of anyone else who can play their own Dante while not sounding like a complete copycat, or the other end of the spectrum and sound nothing like Langdon's Dante. But to me, when you hear Johnny's Dante speak, not his actual dialogue as the character is actually kind of a dumbass in the series, again we'll get onto that in a sec, he just sounds like a Dante. Okay, many of you who are attached to the series probably hear Nero more than anything, and fair enough. I obviously do not have that sentiment, so it doesn't bother me too much. It's just a shame that this Dante is maybe and quite understandably the worst version of Dante for most people. As I said before, he's kind of a dumbass, and the lame excuse is that he's a younger, more brash Dante. And this would be fine if it didn't coincide with what I have to say about Lady. I have a thing about this Lady character, and by that I mean I don't like her. She supposedly can handle herself pretty well until she can't, at least in what I've seen before, looking from the outside in, and that's being nice, which very much has me in two minds already, because she's not a love interest per se, and I don't want that to change. A platonic relationship between two people of the opposite sex in a long-standing series should be pursued more in any kind of storytelling. However, I do not like how it seems that on a bad day for Dante, Lady could kill him. I wouldn't say with ease, but definitely not with very high difficulty. I get it, it's 2025. Shit needs to be more inclusive. That doesn't mean I have to like it. Let him be worse with the punchlines. Let him be bad with money. Let him be a bit more of a dumbass. But make it seem like someone other than Batman could beat him with prep time is kind of unforgivable in my eyes. Granted, I'm more referring to Dante before his awakened devil trigger, so my gripe about that kind of disappears in the series, but still, it was there, so I have to mention it. Because that cat and mouse scene did remind me of the whole Batman vs Superman fight, and anyone who's watched that should remember how dumb that fight was. And next point, CGI is bad, but I already mentioned that. Soundtracks for me, they fit. I half didn't expect the series to have a budget big enough for all original tracks. The Devil Trigger song taken from Devil May Cry 5 doesn't bother me other than the fact that I knew that gamer fans were gonna throw a fit at the scene when it plays. Now with all of that said about the series, I can't help but talk about the Madhouse Devil May Cry series. Now first off, that's also not perfect by any means. That Dante is cool, but in that edgy Jotaro Joestar way. And honestly, while I kind of like it, I've seen enough game cutscenes to somewhat agree with gamers that don't like that version of Dante either. But if push comes to shove, I'm going to prefer that version better than the Netflix version, unfortunately. Sorry Johnny, I promise it's not your fault. In closing, hardcore fans and fake hardcore fans of the franchise alike don't like this Netflix series. They should be more appreciative of the Madhouse series, and maybe should read the manga if they haven't already. That's what I'm probably gonna do. They should also just maybe keep in mind that Netflix probably didn't have them as the target audience. However, that shouldn't be seen as a reason for Netflix to do whatever they want with the show. This definitely does deserve the flack that it gets, and I'm pretty sure the producers knew that there was gonna be backlash but went with it anyway. It might be cheeks. Despite all that, I want to experience the source material. So you know that means that I've bought the games and I'm gonna play them now. Not on my gaming channel, but please consider subscribing on that for other anime fighting game content. Shameless plug to end it, I know, but I am starving right now. If that's the whole goal of the IP license holders for allowing the Netflix show to happen, then there's a good chance that they've achieved that, since I'd like to think I'm not the only one that thinks, I should give that Devil May Cry series a try now. And that's the end of the video. Like if you enjoyed the video, it helps this video get pushed around in the algorithm and I'd really appreciate it. Maybe leave a comment about your thoughts on the show, the Madhouse version, and or the whole franchise or this video. Thanks for watching, have a blessed one, see ya.